Hearts on fire, strong desire. Yep, that song is definitely better than I remember it being. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to my road to Creed 3, where I will be covering every Rocky and Creed film in honor of Creed 3 coming in early March. I've already covered Rockies 1, 2, and 3. If you'd like to check those out, there will be a playlist link in the eye in the right-hand corner. Go check it out. But for right now, it's time to do some breaking with some coverage on Rocky 4. This was released in 1985, and it sees the return of Sylvester Stallone, of course, Carl Weathers, Burt Young, and Talia Shire, with the debut of Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. Similar to the beginning of Rocky 3, Rocky 4 opens with Rocky still the heavyweight champion, still on top of the world. However, there is a new challenger entering the arena in the form of Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren. He has the backing of some very powerful people, let's just say, in the East. He is being heralded as the next big thing with a punch that is 2,000 PSI, and years of Mythbusters watching has taught me that 2,000 PSI, well, that means you're basically screwed when you're stepping in the ring with him. After tragedy strikes with the death of Apollo Creed, Rocky, well, it becomes personal with him and challenges Ivan Drago to a match. People point to Rocky 4 as the beginning of the downward spiral of the Rocky films, where it became too over the top for its own good. And honestly, I've never seen it that way. I didn't even have to rewatch it for this series because pretty much all the movie is up in my head. It's one of the Rocky movies. It's the original and this one that I remembered the most. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that this is a great movie, like an all-timer. Far from it. It's nowhere as good as Rocky 1 or 2. But there are definitely a lot of things here that I really did like and are far better than people give credit for. There's definitely some problems, yes, and I would consider it a mixed bag, but the positives outweigh the negatives. The usual cast of characters is good, but really, Dolph Lundgren really understood the assignment here as Ivan Drago, and he was just menacing. In my research, I found that he was pretty much too aggressive in certain scenes, to the point where Carl Weathers threatened to walk off the movie. That's how bad it got. Sly got the two to make up, and they carried on as planned. But Dolph Lundgren almost went into business for himself. But from all accounts, it all worked out. Just based on presence alone, Dolph Lundgren was the best option that they could have gone with for this character. He looks like he is just chiseled out of granite. Like, the dude looks like he could hurt you just by looking at you. And of course, he's got the memorable lines of, "I must break you." They keep his dialogue to a minimum, which was honestly for the best. No dissing to Dolph Lundgren, but just, you didn't need to have him talk. You just had to have him stand there like Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And like I said, the positives of the movie definitely outweigh the negatives. And the positives are definitely when the movie leans into its more, like, cheesy elements, if for lack of a better word. Basically, when it focuses more on montages and the fight stuff, it's really, really great. The Hearts on Fire stuff is the thing that you, A, more than likely remember the movie for, and B, is the best part. Just the montage of Rocky and Ivan preparing for their fight. Rocky fighting in this cabin, chopping wood, and just doing very, like, hard labor tasks in preparation, while Ivan Drago's in a lab. He's running sprints in a little indoor gym. There's a great scene where he's on this treadmill, and the incline on the treadmill slowly raises and raises and raises. it's a great parallel to two different styles of fighting going into the big fight in the ice capital of the world. Also, another part of the movie that I secretly really like, people say it's cheesy, but I really like it, is the montage of Rocky driving with the song There's No Easy Way Out. You probably know exactly the scene I'm talking about, where Rocky's driving and just having a long think with the great song There's No Easy Way Out and just reflecting on everything that has happened in the past several movies. I thought that was very well done. I might be alone on that, and if I'm alone on that, that's fine. But I love that scene. Where it definitely lacks is some of the tonal shifts, because this movie has a bit of a reputation, like I said, of going way too over the top in certain aspects. Yeah, let's talk about Burt Young's robot, because this just, I never liked this, because I was actually randomly watching some old Siskel and Ebert videos, and I stumbled upon their Rocky 3 video or Rocky 3 review. They weren't big fans of it. They liked it, but they thought that it had lost the thing that had made Rocky 1 and 2 so great. I think I disagree with them slightly, but I see where they're coming from. Their criticism more than applies to certain aspects of Rocky 4, with the robot and just Rocky living in a more extravagant life, basically turning into the thing that he was fighting in Rocky 1 and 2. It was hinted at in Rocky 3, but it's even more pronounced in Rocky 4, which I assume was the intent, but it wasn't handled the best. That's my point. Also, it's a bit of a retread from Rocky 3, because is a similar arc to when, Rocky 3, Rocky's taking Clubber Lang very lightly and he gets his clock cleaned. In Rocky 4, he doesn't fight, and Apollo Creed fights, but at the same time, it's like the wake-up call. It's like, does Rocky need to find his edge again? It's like, I don't know. It was a bit of a weird flex. Also, the weird tonal shifts are just weird. There are several scenes, and the most noticeable one is Apollo Creed's entrance into the fight of Living in America by James Brown. Great scene. But then when Apollo dies, yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing to watch, let's just say. And again, I'm sure that was the intent. Apollo Creed is very over the top in his career, so I get that. But I guess, again, it's weird, because I feel like the movie is trying to tell a story of they're taking this Drago guy lightly, but when I hear this guy has a 2000 PSI punch, I would have trained a little harder for it. I guess that's what I'm saying. Apollo Creed have a great deal more seriousness to him. But no, that's not what we got. And I feel like the mistakes in Rocky 3 are also in Rocky 4, and they're just louder. And in reviews I've seen, especially on Letterboxd, there are some users that call this movie propaganda, because I guess they don't know what propaganda actually means, but that's another story for another time. But I think the whole scene where Rocky gives the speech at the end is a bit over the top, but it feels like a Rocky thing to do, so it's not the best, but I'm fine with it. Overall, I think this movie's a very mixed bag. I'm going to give it a good rating. There is a lot of good stuff in here, but like I said, the mistakes that were made in Rocky 3 are magnified in Rocky 4, and I feel like they noticed that, because that's why in the next film, Rocky 5, it felt very back to basics. Sly's back in his old neighborhood, and it's directed by John G. Avildsen for the first time since the first Rocky. I have not seen Rocky 5 in a very long time, and that's coming up next on the road to Creed 3, and that's the movie that is said to have killed the Rocky movies for a very long time. Does it hold up, or does it not? We'll have to find out. But what did you all think of Rocky 4? What's your favorite moment from the movie? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.